Hello everyone, this is Lalita Singh and you are going to study science with me in class 8. Today we are discussing second part of the chapter 2 called microorganism. In our previous video, we have learned about what is microorganism, who discovered the microorganism, what are the general characteristics of microorganism. We have also seen about habitats of microorganism. Then we have talked about the groups of microorganism like bacteria, fungus, algae, protozoa and viruses. You can see these are the structure of viruses, which is having protein capsid and the DNA. Okay, see, this is the bacteriophage which attack the bacteria, right? Now next is economical importance of microorganism. Earlier we have learned that some of the microorganisms are beneficial, some of the microorganisms are harmful for us. Okay, so first we are going to study about beneficial microorganism which are used in food industry first. Okay, so in food industry we will learn about the action of bacteria to help us out. The first thing is making curd. Lactic acid bacteria, it means lactobacillus, is used to convert milk into curd. The sugar, lactose sugar present in milk, get converted into lactic acid by the action of lactobacillus bacteria. In milk, these bacteria, when get introduced, they take nutrition from milk, they multiply many times and they produce the waste material, and which is acid. Okay, because of the presence of lactic acid, the milk becomes sour to taste, and after churning this curd, which is formed by the action of lactobacillus, the conversion of milk into curd is done with the help of lactobacillus. After the curd is formed, we can churn it to yield butter as well. Okay, next is making pickles. Bacteria are used to make pickles. Bacteria are also used to improve the flavor of butter. Okay, next is making wine and vinegar. Yeast is used for commercial production of alcohol. We have learned about that yeast is anaerobic respiratory organism. Okay, anaerobic respiration is performed anaerobic respiration. It means it does not require oxygen, and by the process of fermentation it converts sugar molecule into alcohol. Understood? And form wine from the fruit juices. Yeast cell break down the sugar of the fruit juices and convert it into alcohol, and later on this alcohol is also converted into vinegar by the action of acetic acid bacteria. Clear? Next is making cheese. Certain lactic acid bacteria is also used to turn the milk into sour and convert the lactose into lactic acid, as we have discussed earlier. The semi-solid component after boiling the sour milk, okay, the semi-solid component is separated from the fluid, and these are used to make cheese. Mold are used for ripening of cheese to give it characteristic flavor and aroma. Okay, aroma means smell. Now next, making beverages like tea and coffee. Bacteria help in ripening of the tea leaves that give them a characteristic aroma and flavor. Okay, they are also used in production of coffee from coffee shades and cocoa. Next is tenderization of meat. Bacteria act upon the tough muscle fiber of meat to make it soft. This is called tenderization. Maybe you have seen your parent to perform marination process while cooking the meat, right? Now preparation of dough for bread, milk, dosa, bhatura and dhokla. These doughs, when prepared, the dough to prepare these items, when prepared, you may have seen the quantity of the dough. Actually, while cooking it, before cooking it, we leave the dough for resting period. In this meantime, the amount of dough get increased. Can you guess the reason why? Actually, while making the dough, we have introduced yeast powder into the dough. Yeast powder is actually the yeast, and dough is acting as a nutrient material. So yeast feed on these dough, they grow in size, they multiply in number, and in the meantime they also produce the waste material from the body, like carbon dioxide and other substances, right? During this process, the carbon dioxide get trapped in between the dough. Because of it, the level of dough get increased. And when we are cooking these type of dough, which is having a lot amount of carbon dioxide trapped in between, it become fluffy after getting cooked, because we know that air when heated it get expand. While cooking we are providing heat, so the molecule, the air which is trapped inside dough, they also get expand. And because of this, lots of hole like structure maybe you have seen in bread pieces or in cake or in idli, right? Next is activity number 3, to make a dough soft and fluffy. For that, you need half kilogram of wheat flour, a big bowl, sugar, yeast powder and water. Okay, now take the wheat flour in a bowl and add 2 teaspoon of sugar and a half teaspoon of yeast powder and mix it properly. Actually, this is done to activate the yeast. Okay, after that, mix nicely it with the flour and knead it with warm water to make it a soft dough. Warm water is necessary to promote the growth of the yeast over there. Okay, now after mixing it, after properly kneading it, cover it with the moist cloth and leave it for the resting period of 2 hours. Okay, after 2 hours you can absorb that elevated condition of dough. Okay, the dough has risen up in its volume, become soft and fluffy. Why? Because yeast cell break the sugar and produce alcohol and carbon dioxide. Bubble of carbon dioxide get trapped into this dough and it become elevated. Okay, bubbles of carbon dioxide gas fill the space in dough and make it rise. After cooking it looks spongy. Can you see this? This is dough for idli and it is having lots of air bubble inside it. These air bubble indicate the trapped carbon dioxide which was due to the development of yeast. When they perform respiration, this carbon dioxide is released which is trapped in between the dough. Now, when we cook these batter, what happened? The idli are prepared which is kind of soft. See, you can see the holes present in the idli which can indicate you that they are kind of very soft, right? Now see over here, this is the bread which is having plenty of hole over here, which is also indicating the trapped carbon dioxide molecule over there which get released when we cut the cake. Now this one is what? Can you recognize this? This is dhokla, right? And these dhoklas are also having lots of hole which make it spongy, and it is also because of the trapped carbon dioxide molecule. And can you see this cake? It is also having lots of hole over here which is indicating the trapped carbon dioxide which was prepared during the process of baking. Now next is B, algae as a source of food. Up to now we have learned about bacteria. Now we are going to discuss about algae as a source of food. Actually, algae are the potential source of food for all human beings. As we are growing in number, the population is increasing, but the farming area is decreasing day by day. Okay, so we are in search of potential source of food that can be used for human beings, and algae is considered as one of the potential source of food for humans. In China, Japan, many seaweeds are also used as a food even right now. They provide wholesome nutrient because they are performing photosynthesis. They synthesize all the nutrient material that they need. That is why they provide wholesome nutrient for a person to grow. Okay, so algae is also used as fish food. Algae like phytoplankton, diatom, they are present in the water, aquatic area. They can be used as a food by the fishes and many aquatic organisms. Next is cattle feed. Some of the algae are used to feed the cattle. Kettles can use some algae which is also very nutritious for them. Now agar is a jelly like substance which we obtain from red alga known as Glidium or Glyceria. It is used for preparation of gelatin, ice cream, jellies and pudding. In ice cream, a sodium compound obtained from algae is used to make ice cream. Sodium compound which is obtained from the algae is used to make ice cream very smooth. It is also used as a thickener in salad dressing. A single cell alga named as chlorella is being considered as a potential source of food for rapidly rising population. We know that population is increasing at a rapid pace. For all the population to provide food, we have to search for alternative sources of food, and in which algae play a very important role. Now next is fungus. Mushroom is very common for us, which we eat, right? So some mushrooms are edible and are rich source of protein. Understood. Next is medicinal uses of microorganism. Microorganisms are used to produce antibiotic like streptomycin, erythromycin, chloromycetin, automycin, etc. are obtained from either fungus or bacteria. The first antibiotic, penicillin, was discovered from fungus called Penicillium notatum. Antibiotics are always used to treat bacterial infection. These antibiotics stop the replication of bacteria, so they maintain the number of bacteria inside body in decrease condition. Okay, they are also mixed with the feed of livestock and poultry to check the microbial infection in them. We can mix these antibiotic into their food and then we can provide it to them easily. Okay, they are also used to control many plant diseases. Now, preparation of vaccine is the B section. Vaccines. What is vaccines? Vaccines are antigens prepared from the pathogenic bacteria. Pathogenic means disease causing germs. Okay, vaccines are what? Antigen which we are preparing from the disease causing germs which are in an inactive condition. Okay, they are not activated, either they are dead in condition or they are in inactive condition. We provide these vaccines to a healthy individual so that their body can get ready to fight against disease. These weakened or dead organisms are introduced into the body. Okay, and when it enters into the body start to recognize these microorganisms as a foreign particle, and they produce antibody against these antigen so that these antibodies can fight against these bacterial infection. See over here, these are the Y-shaped structure which are called antibodies synthesized in our own body against every antigen that enter. Okay, so in this structure you can see the head region over here at the Y of the Y. These are the binding sites. Okay, these are the binding site. These are the binding site of antibody which get combined with the antigen. You can see over here the binding site get combined with the antigen. These are the binding site marked over here, and these are upper portion are known as antigen. Clear? So antibody antigen get combined with each other. You can see over here, this is a bacterial cell which is having lots of receptor. The yellow, red and green color dots like structure which is present on the surface of circle are actually representing the receptor on which these antibodies will combine. You can see the shape of on the top of these antibodies, it is V-shaped structure. So obviously these V-shaped structure will combine with only V-shaped receptor. You can see they are combined over here. So in this way we can say that every microorganism is having different shapes of receptor present on their cell membrane, and when antibodies are produced in the body, it is actually produced in many shapes, and when the particular shape is synthesized in body, it get fused with the antigen present on the microbial surface, okay, microbial cell membrane, and then it will form a bond like this. And see over here, these heads are different, these heads are different, and these heads are different. So accordingly they will combine, means the green one will combine with the green structure, blue one will combine with the blue structure, because they are both of them are having the similar shape, whereas this green one will combine with the green structure like this. Understood? Antibodies are having attachment site. It is a Y-shaped structure. The attachment site of every antibody is different from one another, and a specific antigen combined with the specific antibodies. Okay, so when the vaccines are introduced in the body, our body get time to synthesize these all kind of antibodies. Okay, at that time when vaccination is provided to a child, the body use trial and error method. Okay, the body synthesize all different kind of antibodies, and one of them get attached with the one of them which is of particular required shape. They will get attached to the antigen, and this information will get stored in the memory cell of immune system. Understood? And later on it is used by the person throughout their life to protect from a particular kind of disease. See, one thing you have to notice while vaccination, that vaccination is provided to a child. In vaccination, we are introducing the dead microorganism into the body of the child. While these microorganisms enter into the body will recognize it as a foreign particle, and the body will get plenty time to synthesize the antibody, because these microorganisms are not going to harm the child. Okay, they are just simply present in the body, and body will act against it, and they will started to synthesize all the antibody they can. But at that time the body is using trial and error method, means every antibodies which is synthesized over there, they will try to get attached with the antigen. Out of them, one particular type which is made according to the antigen, which will get fixed over there, and it will help to kill the already killed microorganism. Okay, but the memory of antibody which is synthesized against that particular antigen is now stored into the memory cell, right? And it will always used by the immunity or immune system of that person's body. Clear? So it means by vaccination we are providing a lot of time for the body to prepare again to fight against the diseases without causing any harm. Okay, vaccination have already been developed against smallpox, cholera, tuberculosis, hepatitis, polio, etc. They are prepared from the microorganism which caused disease on large scale. Understood? Next is synthesis of vitamin B complex. Bacteria named Escherichia coli live in the intestine of vertebrate and humans. Vertebrate are those animals which are having spinal cord. These Escherichia coli live in the large intestine, and they digest the food over there and produces vitamin B complex. Next is industrial users of microorganism. In industry we use microorganism for tanning of leather and retting of fiber. First we will discuss about tanning of leather. Bacteria are used in leather industry so that it can soften the leather which we extract from the animal. Actually firstly when we obtain the leather from the animal, it is kind of very stiff. Okay, but after the process of tanning, bacteria make it soft, and so that we can use various products of the leather. Okay, like belt, like purse, etc. Now retting of fiber. You have learned about retting in class 6 as well, in which we have left the jute stem into water for several days so that the bacteria act over there and it can digest the gluing material present on the stem, which glue the fiber to the stem. You can see over here the process of retting is going on. The person is cleaning the fiber out of the stem. Okay, in jute industry, bacteria are used to separate jute fiber. The jute plant are tied in bundle and submerged into water. Bacteria gradually destroy the stem tissue and loosen the fiber. This is called retting. These jute fibers are used to make rope or jute bag and many other products. Next is microorganism in sewage disposal. You may have learned about them in class 7 as well. where we use microorganism in different stages of sewage disposal. Like the first thing we have done is screening. Then it has the sewage water has been passed to the sand and grete tank, where the sand and grete has been separated, and later on it has been passed to the sedimentation tank, where the sediment has been separated and passed to the digester, where anaerobic microorganism act on it and convert it into manure. In the process, biogas is also generated. Biogas is a gas which can be used as fuel. The main chief constituent of biogas is methane gas, and that is why it can be used for various purposes like cooking or lighting purposes. Understood? So after sedimentation tank, the water was or sewage was sent into the aeration tank, where the aerobic bacteria also act on it to completely purify the water. Now next is microorganism and cleaning of environment. You may think that microorganisms are very small, they are not very essential, but no, they are very very essential, because they are the one who is cleaning the environment. You may have seen several fallen leaf beside the plant, or you may have seen some stray animal being killed by the accident and they are thrown on the side of the road, but after some day they get disappear. Where they get into, they actually get decomposed by these microorganisms. So in this way, the microorganism is cleaning the environment from the dead and decaying organic substances. Okay, microorganism decompose dead plant and animal and convert their organic compounds into simple inorganic substances. These substances get mixed with the soil and then they improve the soil fertility. It means they are also increasing the soil fertility beside cleaning the environment. Thus, microorganisms prevent accumulation of waste on the earth. Just think about it. If there wouldn't have been any microorganism, then what would be happen? The earth may have filled up to now with lots of waste, and life even on the earth wouldn't be possible in that case. Okay, next is recycling of matter by microorganism. Bacteria and fungus decomposes the complex organic compound of decaying plant and animal matter, and they convert the complex organic compound into simple inorganic substances like nitrogen and carbon compound, and they return back them to the soil, and after that from the soil they can be reabsorbed by the plant, so that they can synthesize various complex organic compound. It means firstly the plant, that part of plant or animal get mixed into the soil in the form of humus by the action of microorganism, and then later on this humus is later on used by the plant to synthesize the more food product, which can later on pass to the several animals. Okay, now next is microorganism increases soil fertility. How? There are lots of microorganisms like rhizobium which live in the roots nodule of the leguminous plant. These rhizobium are very specific because these are the one who fix the atmospheric nitrogen into the soil and increase the soil fertility. Beside this, cyanobacteria, also known as blue-green algae, are able to fix the nitrogen from the air into the nitrogenous compound. This is called nitrogen fixation. The process of fixing the nitrogen into the soil is called nitrogen fixation. This process enriches the soil with nitrate, and these nitrates are used by the plant for their own growth and to synthesize various protein products. Okay, now next is activity number 4. See, to observe the root of legume plant for nodules, you have to obtain a legume root. You will clean this properly and then you will cut any nodules from the plant and you will observe it under the microscope. Clear? Bacteria inside the nodule are basically rod shaped. They reside in tissue of the root, forming enlarged root nodules. They convert atmospheric nitrogen into the nitrate, which can be used by the plant. Alright? Next is harmful microorganism. It means we have learned about useful microorganism in baking industry as to produce antibodies as vaccination, to clean the environment, to clean the sewage, to recycle the nutrient, and to increase the soil fertility. But what are the harmful effects of it? Actually, the microorganism causes disease, and this is one of the harmful effect of it. A variety of our microorganisms which harm us by causing disease. They also spoil the food. They can spoil the crop as well, damaging our clothes, paper, leather goods, etc. Okay, so we are going to discuss about disease which is caused by the microorganism. There are some microorganisms which can cause disease in human, animal, or plant, and these disease causing microorganisms are called pathogen. Okay, disease causing microorganisms are called pathogen. Next is, okay, first we will learn about microbial disease in domestic animal. Okay, the disease called anthrax is caused by bacterium in cattle. Foot and mouth disease is also caused by virus. You can see this is the foot and mouth disease. Can you see the red blotch over here? Like this. This is what happened during foot and mouth disease. The certain area of body portion of animal get infected by microbes which causes disease. Alright, this is called foot and mouth disease. Next is microbial disease in plants. Several bacterium, viruses, fungus, they all cause disease in plant. Let's discuss about bacterial disease. But first is blight of rice with pale green lesion on the leaf and citrus cancer. You can see this is what happened during citrus cancer. You may have seen lemon or oranges with these type of spots over there. This is called citrus cancer. Okay, it happens in the fruit, it happens in the leaf as well. Now you can see the blotches over here, pale yellow blotches on the leaf. This happen during blight of rice. This reduces the amount of photosynthesis, and hence the plant will the crop production will damage as well. Next is viral diseases of plant like tobacco mosaic disease. See, this happened during tobacco mosaic disease to the plant. When the leaf get infected by the tobacco mosaic virus, the quality of leaf get degraded. And we know that during farming of tobacco, the most important part is tobacco leaves. Okay, so the farmer take very good care of these leaves. If this type of thing happens with the tobacco leaf, then the entire crop of the farmer will get destroyed. Next is leaf curl. Leaf curl of cotton and beans and leaf roll in tomatoes are very common viral disease. You can see the leaves over here. They are getting curled or rolled back. See, the leaves are rolled like this. Okay, so these are the things happen to the leaf if they are suffering from the viral disease. They get curled or they get rolled. In both of the condition, the part of the leaf which were flattened to absorb more and more sunlight are now getting coiled up, or the surface area decreased due to coiling up. Hence, in this way, it affects the photosynthesis rate as well, and obviously because of it, the rate of photosynthesis will reduce and the production of fruit from the plant will also get reduced. Next is fungal disease of plant like rust or smut in wheat. You can see the leaves of wheat, they are having brown patches on the leaf. It means the area of the leaf which were having healthy chlorophyll is now low, so plant will reduce the quantity of photosynthesis that the leaf was going to get performed. Okay, so rust and smut in wheat, potato blight. You can see this is what happened during potato blight. The leaf get destroyed of the plant. Mildew in grapes, gooseberry, rose, and seasonal flowering plant also are fungal disease. This is a fungal disease. Okay, microbial disease in plants spread by means of air because microbes generally form spore. These spores float in the air, and when once they reach to the favorable condition, they grow over there. They causes great damage to the food production because they are harming the quality of leaves. These disease can be controlled by spraying some antibacterial or antifungal chemicals like fungicide. Next is microbial disease in man, that we will study in our next video. Until then, have a nice day everyone.